Hello, this is Shelley Rothis. This part is going to be a short story for the chapter of The Nightmare I Couldn't Wake Up from the personal story known as The Dark Tunnel Without Any Escape. So, let's get started. Rainbow Warrior's Final Triumph. Rainbow Warrior's escape was actually a new mission that was planned by the master from the heavens above. The one who created Rainbow Warrior had unique plans for her purpose on this earth. The purpose was to fight off the most wicked creatures that have been created by the evil demons of hell. These vile creatures have been destroying all good for far too long. The master from above needed the strongest heart and soul of all to kill off these most terrifying creatures of all. Who is the individual that was made with the most miraculous powers of all? Rainbow Warrior was especially made for what mankind sees as the weakest of them all. These fools are the ones who have levitated to be the most evil creatures of all. Satan has been corroding this once God-made planet with evil thrill seekers. The only mission is to harm any angel that stands in their way, to make this planet into the most wicked planet of all. One day, when Rainbow Warrior was glaring out her window with only great sadness and fear, this is when her maker whispered into Rainbow Warrior's ear, "I promise you, my child, that your purpose will be rewarded by many grateful souls indeed." Rainbow Warrior responded with great confusion by what seemed impossible to believe. She asked her maker, "How can I, the weakest being, change this satanic planet filled with nothing but the most cruel creatures that roams this planet with so much pride and glee?" Her maker responded, saying that she is actually one of the most strongest and unique creatures that he created, with the strongest heart and soul he himself never imagined to ever be. One day, when Rainbow Warrior was walking down what she thought was her dream she never imagined to ever be, Grumpster from the Lexi Lulu Club was driving his white tank down the secret pathway Rainbow Warrior roamed with what she thought was the reward her maker had promised for surrendering her heart and soul far too many times indeed. Grumpster was so confused by the dreamlike world he had been forbidden to see. Grumpster started to remember what it was like to have the feelings that were blissful indeed. This was part of the master's plans indeed. It was the magical, colorful, glowing rays of light that captured Grumpster's heart with love at first sight. Grumpster's biggest fear of all is that his desperation for safety was only a delusion his masters forced him to believe. One day, Grumpster got the courage to see what he had forgotten to be. This forgotten feeling was a taste of what happiness and freedom his masters stole from him with their wicked evil spell, known as Fools Made to Be. The Fools Made to Be spell was made for those desperate souls who are the easiest to manipulate and deceive. Grumpster's main master is Vagisaurus. Vagisaurus treated Grumpster as a child, who she has fooled to believe her bountiful crater is filled with beautiful, satisfying scents ever known to be. Although it was this toxic crater that let out the continuous spell known as Fools Made to Be. Grumpster is the crater slave that Vagisaurus demanded him to be. On this one rare day that Grumpster had a taste of courage, he went to see who this glowing colorful creature was. Grumpster wasn't sure if it was real or another evil plot of the toxic spell known as Fools Made to Be. Grumpster waited with hopes of being able to finally meet this beautiful creature that made his eyes glisten with glee. He then looked up with glistening eyes that sparkled with love he never knew could ever be. Rainbow Warrior felt a magical connection that she never knew to be. The magical sparks bursted into the air from what you'd only think happens in an imaginary fairy tale that is only a dream. Rainbow Warrior thought for sure this was a gift that her maker had promised her. Rainbow Warrior feared that this unbelievable miracle was nothing but a wicked trick from her maker's biggest nemesis of all. After several encounters with this man, she started to open her heart and soul to Grumpster. Little did she know that this man would end up being the most deceitful being of all. It was the one day she was staring at the waves in the ocean below a magnificent blue sky. Rainbow Warrior began to wonder if her mission from her maker was now the ending that she never imagined to ever be. Rainbow Warrior began to wonder if she's in heaven as a gracious reward from her maker above. Rainbow Warrior began to shine with the brightest colors without the fright that had always held her heart down. That same day, Rainbow Warrior was glaring at the ocean and sky, feeling as though she had gotten the biggest reward she thought could only be in a fairy tale. Although this fairy tale was about to be destroyed by Grumpster's master, Vagisaurus, who was hiding behind one dark cloud Rainbow Warrior wasn't able to see. Vagisaurus saw the sparks between Grumpster and Rainbow Warrior that didn't need any toxic spell at all. It was these sparks that threatened Vagisaurus' toxic spell of Fools Made to Be. Vagisaurus' brain started to spark with jealous rage. Vagisaurus knew her toxic crater hole was no match for Rainbow Warrior. Rainbow Warrior is a respectable woman that didn't need to play games with men's hearts to get a fake sense of pride. Vagisaurus knew she was inferior to this colorful creature that could easily destroy her delusion of being the most powerful creature of all. Vagisaurus broke her ego of delusional power by desperately seeking help from her greatest opponents of all. These evil workers of Satan are known as Contessa, Shartzilla, and Skank Taurus. These three were exuberantly thrilled with the thought of destroying the one they saw as their most powerful opponent indeed. Although they also realized that their evil spells wouldn't achieve their goal of abolishing their greatest nemesis, that they were cautioned to avoid with great fear indeed. The four wicked villains huddled in a circle, bashing their crater brains together. The power of their demon souls flaming with the most evil spells ever known. They knew these spells would be nothing but a joke to their most powerful nemesis. They became desperate and decided to find the most stinkiest man known of all. Mr. Fartshine was the only demon whose spells made everyone turn green. Vagisaurus offered Mr. Fartshine a boink if he'd help them with their mission. Rainbow Warrior caused these four villains to be obsessed with jealousy for this powerful creature they only wished they could be. They upped the offer to a trio boink by both Vagisaurus and Skank Taurus. Mr. Fatshine was intrigued by the thought of having the chance to boink the most stinkiest demons known to be. Skank Taurus came up with an idea for a spell she is most fond of indeed. Skank Taurus loved the thrill of being the well-known hussy for the most desperate and insecure men known to be. These men are the ones who seek the thrill of being with the most skankiest woman ever known to be. This spell is known as the Dirty Mistress's Crater for Goons. Vagisaurus applauded Skank Taurus for coming up with the best plan indeed. Skank Taurus bowed down with pride for being the dirtiest skank ever known to be. Skank Taurus skipped around with excitement of capturing another chump. Skank Taurus spied on Grumpster and Rainbow Warrior for the chance to make Grumpster her new tool. One day, Rainbow Warrior was shopping for gifts for the new love she never imagined to be. This is when Skank Taurus started to send love messages to Grumpster. To her dismay, Grumpster ignored her messages. He knew was how she destroyed his last relationship. Grumpster was fearful, knowing that these four devilish women will do anything to destroy the new love he didn't want to deceive. Vagisaurus and Skank Taurus began to bang their heads with great frustration indeed. Vagisaurus's eyes beamed with excitement for a new plan she knew Grumpster would fall for like a chump twatter indeed. This spell is known as the Triskankular Shag Hag. Vagisaurus knew she'd need to throw in the spell known as the Hoodwinker's Domination for Fools to Be. Grumpster was reluctant, but his fear of toxic revenge made him bend down like a worthless chump he knew he would always be. Grumpster broke Rainbow Warrior's heart in a way that ended in total abolishment of what her maker made her to be. Rainbow Warrior turned into the soul she never believed she could ever be. She began to feel a tremendous amount of hate for every human she encountered. Rainbow Warrior even threw in her sword of good to her maker up above. She saw this so-called maker of good as the biggest joke ever known to be. The four villains of evil rejoiced in their goal to destroy their greatest nemesis of all. Grumpster bowed down in honor for being the toxic crater hole they wanted him to be. They banged their heads with glee for winning over the biggest tool indeed. They danced around in joy, knowing the horrendous amount of pain their new tool would cause their greatest nemesis of all. Rainbow Warrior began to hide from these cruel creatures with the greatest fear she never imagined to ever be. The devastation Rainbow Warrior felt caused her extreme anger and fear. She wished she was invisible, since everyone now see her as the clown her first love made her to be. Grumpster knew the harm he caused the woman he claimed to love, without any doubts indeed. Vagisaurus knew she would need to double up the dose of the spell of fools made to be. Skanktaurus helped Vagisaurus by twiddling her crater hole around Grumpster with hopes he'd be captured by the spell of Crater Stank Fools. This spell was known to manipulate men to believe they are doing a good deed. Grumpster delusionally believed that the cruel deeds he did to Rainbow Warrior is an ego buster indeed. Little did Grumpster know he was harming the one person who loved him for the man his maker from above intended him to be. Cantassa, Shartzilla, Skanktaurus, Vagisaurus, and their new tool for devious deeds jumped into the pool full of satanic stank with glee. The four mistresses of Satan twaddled their ruffled legs in the greatest conquest for the spell known as Fools Made to Be. Rainbow Warrior saw from afar that the first man she loved was now her greatest nemesis of all. Rainbow Warrior walked away with the greatest sadness and humiliation ever known to be. Rainbow Warrior may have lost the first person she experienced the greatest feeling ever known to be. Although this feeling was real for Rainbow Warrior, she now realized that Grumpster is the most cruel and weak man on this satanic planet that Satan has overtaken with glee. The man from above begged and pleaded for Rainbow Warrior to continue fighting for the world that was meant to be. Rainbow Warrior told her master that she is resigning from the role that caused her to have the most miserable life ever known to be. She told her maker to shove his promises of rewards in his mouth, full of deceit that she was now led to believe.